welcome to Baguette Baguette. I'm TK, Terry Kaufman, an American living in France for the last 22 years.
And I'm Marie-Aude Mériguet, born in Paris, and well, I've been living here my whole life.
We wanted to make a podcast about everything we love about France.
French food, French music, French culture, you name it.
Enjoy the episode. We all know pancakes, and we probably know waffles, but do you know about crepes? As in they say in the film Talladega Nights, I had a whole mess of them this morning. And they're like really thin pancakes, maybe even better. Crepes is just the French word for them. This episode, we are going to explore the delicious crepe. So what is it, Mariette? What is a crepe?
Well, Thierry, crepes are, as you said, what I would generally describe as the French pancake, except there are a few differences. The crepe is a wider dish than the pancake. I'm talking about like centimeters. I don't know how to convert the centimeters. A few inches wider than a pancake.
It's the whole plate.
Yeah, it's a plate wide. Can we say this? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
It's thinner. It's pretty much the same recipe, the same ingredients, except that we also have a specialty in crepes that is, we have the regular one, I would say, and we have also the buckwheat one. Is that the word?
That is the word. Buckwheat, yeah.
Buckwheat. And it is a specialty that is from actually the region in France where I come from, which is Brittany, which is on the west coast of France, but it's been generalized in the whole country and even abroad because this is something that's very good, very easy to prepare, and you can add to your crepe, anything you want. It can be something sweet like chocolate, sugar, honey, whipped cream, and you name it, ice cream. Or you can eat it as your main dish. And then you're going to put in ham, eggs, cheese. This is the basics. And then you can create as many recipes as you wish. And it is very famous. And the particularity of crepes in France is that everybody makes them. This is really like everybody seems to be making them. I really suck at it, but everybody seems to know how to bake a crepe. Yeah.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. It's one of the first things I thought about was my wife is like, I have two kids. Let's say it's like the time for the goûter, which is like the snack time for the kids. So maybe like 4:00 on a rainy Saturday afternoon, my wife's going to be like, "Oh, I'm just going to whip up some crepes," and she goes in the kitchen. It feels like for 15 minutes, and she comes out with this like beautiful mound of crepes, with like 20 individual crepes, and we just start eating these things. And within the span of like half an hour, they're all gone, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful family moment, So now you said everybody knows how to make them except for you, unfortunately, but that's okay. So we could say, what else makes them so successful, in your opinion?
Well, first, I wanted to add to what you just said. It is successful. It is really, what is really interesting to me is that the crepe is the go-to activity when you don't know what to do. As you said, on a lazy Sunday afternoon, I don't know what to do. It's raining outside. I'm bored. So I'm going to make crepes. That's what we do in France. What makes them so successful? Well, first, I would say it is that the recipe is very simple. It's quick to make. With few ingredients, you have milk, sometimes water, eggs, sometimes butter, flour. That's it. You whip it, you bake it on a pan. And that's
sometimes beer, no?
Sometimes beer. That's the recipe I'm best at, so maybe it says a lot about me, but I'm best with the one that has beer in it. Beer, yeah, so that the preparation is more airy and even more fluffy, even better. They're successful because of it. It's really simple. There is an immediate satisfaction that people have, I guess. It's psychological, I would say, that they are able to very quickly, very simply, with small kids, even, or even if you suck at cooking, you can, except for me, bake a crepe very easily and have the satisfaction of eating something that is very good.
And I think the other thing too is that it's very much like the French street food, and French food in general is pretty darn complicated. You have like it's not like poulet au champagne or ratatouille on a stick or something like that. Those things that just don't travel, you know what I mean? And
Mm.
so the thing is that really it's the thing that you could eat anywhere in France. And like when I think about a crepe, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm probably like at the beach, like walking by all the shops and stuff, and just taking a moment out of the sun and having a crepe, or I'm at the park in Paris and I'm chilling out, or with the kids, or I'm maybe at like a local music festival or something like that, and you just have a crepe. And I think the other thing too you said is like, well, it's like so the variety too, because you get this big stack of them when you make these at home, obviously, and then you can like change from one crepe to another. Like one crepe could be sugar with some lemon juice. That's really good. And the next crepe, you're feeling like a little bit, you want something a little bit more, so you're going to throw some Nutella on there. Oh, now we're talking. Do you know what I mean? And then you can have the next one with like jam, like, strawberry jam. That's so good. I really get a kick out of that. Which for you are your favorite like sugary crepe? If you only had one crepe to go for.
My favorite sugary, well, very simple, but sometimes it is just so good that just the crepe is good in itself. Yet, since we have so many opportunities, I would advise that you add on it some um, chocolate paste. We have the very famous one is Nutella, but we have many others, and it is you can never go wrong with this one.
Melted chocolate, I totally agree. For me, I would go with that or Nutella. That's where it's at. What about now? We talked a little bit about salty crepes. Now, which one is your favorite salty crepe?
Well, I'm going to go with the very famous one, the basic salty crepe here, and that is a specialty of my region here in Brittany. It's the complete. It's called the complete, which means full, the full one, the complete, because it has all the basic ingredients: ham, cheese, and egg. That's a complete. And sometimes people add to it mushrooms, which is very good, but
You
then it's
you
called some
can,
other thing. But it's a complete, basically.
yeah. That sounds about right. Now, me personally, I wanted to tell a little story like about when I first arrived in France. I was like 25, 20, 26 years old, and I'm having a great time in Paris, pubs and everything. They close, like they don't really close, but you kind of like 3 or 4 o'clock. It's time to go, and I'm walking home, and I come upon this crepe place near Opera. And I was like, oh, this looks really good. And of course, kind of a little bit drunk, I was very hungry. And so I get a complet, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing I think I've ever had in my life. Because you're sitting there and it's really not expensive. It's like 5 or 6 euros. You're just eating this thing in the street. And it is an experience. It's a religious experience. And it's the equivalent in the States of like going to Waffle House or something like that, after a night out with the friends. You go to Waffle House to sit down and have pancakes and egg, and sausage and ham and all that kind of stuff. And man, this is it's an amazing experience to be done. What about some unacceptable things to eat on a crepe? What should you not put on a crepe?
Well, it's difficult to answer to that because I'm all for new experiences when it comes to things like that, like crepe and adding a new thing and tasting it. But I remember one time I ate a crepe which had a tomato sauce in it. It tasted more something that you would find on a pizza, but it wasn't a
Yeah.
crepe, and maybe it wasn't that fresh. I don't know, but it was difficult to digest, and I didn't like it at all. That's the only memory I have of a mistake made with a
Yeah.
crepe.
So to be avoided with the tomato sauce. I would just add, what's cool about France is that every region you go to, there's always some kind of regional specialty. And what's kind of weird though is that they want to put that regional specialty on whatever, like pizza, like you said, pizza and crepes. So for example, like I live in the Franche-Comté, and it's the regional specialties, basically sausage and potatoes and cheese, so crepes are great with like, cheese and ham, and that's fantastic. But potatoes, you shouldn't put potatoes on pizza, and you really shouldn't put potatoes on a crepe. So if you see, potatoes on a crepe, try to avoid that one.
Well, I guess I just realized that maybe the same rules abide for crepes as for pizza. You should never put pineapple on pizza, for example. Well, that's the
Oh,
same for
oh no.
crepes.
Oh no, of course you should.
Oh,
What are you
you like
talking
it?
about?
No, that's another debate.
Oh. So we always like to ask the question, what makes this so French? I think we've answered it where you said, well, it's so super easy. It does seem quite complicated. Like when my wife comes out of the kitchen with this huge plate of crepes, I'm just like, wow, that must have taken all day. And she's only been in there for half an hour. And if I was thinking, what else it makes this so French is this kind of act of flipping a crepe, which it's like an overhand service in tennis. Like you either have it or you don't. I don't have it and my wife does.
Yeah.
But this kind of like, oh la la, flip. It's like an omelet flip, and it's a beautiful thing when you can do it. But it's that's something I can't do. Once again, very simple but kind of chic.
Yeah, and it's also what makes it the whole of it. Making crepes is very playful, so it's why also it's something nice to make with kids or with friends because it's always funny. It's always fun. Sorry, I remember also when I was little that we would do it with my grandparents, and there was a tradition where uh, you took a coin in one hand, and with the other hand, you would flip your crepe, and it would be good luck if it was a success, the flipping. I don't remember very well, but we did this. It was so much fun.
Sounds like it.
So, Thierry, would there be an equivalent in the U.S.?
Well, obviously we have pancakes and waffles, and we already talked about that. But I think in this kind of equivalent of like the surprise that some mom makes and all the kids are like super excited about, it makes me think of like Rice Krispie treats. I don't know if you've ever had that, which is basically the Rice Krispie cereal with marshmallows, melted marshmallows, and you throw that in the oven. It's just basically the kids are like, oh, sugar rush, and like passing out, a half an hour later. And but it's like pure happiness, and I think of that.
So Rice Krispie.
Yeah, exactly. So so we talked about eating crepes in the park and stuff like that, but you can also eat them in a restaurant, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of restaurants, crêperies, crêperies, where that are dedicated to making people eat crepes, for sure. So that's a go-to restaurant as well because when you're young, for example, that's the first restaurant you really enjoy going to with your friends. Because as a student, I remember not having that much money to go out, but crêperies were okay because, as you said, it's maybe the less expensive restaurant ever.
That's funny because I come from an American point of view, which is like I don't feel like I have enough food for my money, and like because you have to buy two crepes because you have to buy like a salty crepe and then you have to buy a sweet crepe, and they're both, I don't know, the salty crepe's like €9 and the sweet crepe's like €6. It's like getting like $15 for a couple of pancakes. Do you know what I mean? And so like sometimes for me, it's like if I'm coming out of there for like 15, €20 in a restaurant for crepes, I'd rather just have the one for €6 where I'm standing in the street, just totally enjoying that bad boy.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
However, the one thing about crêperies is that, like burgers, it's if you ever go to like Vietnam and you meet some French person that says they have a restaurant, I'm almost going to guarantee it's probably a crêperie because, like we said, it's pretty easy, to do rather than boeuf bourguignon or fancy, French cuisine that's very exhausting. Crepes is kind of where it's at. It's pretty fun and easy to make.
Yeah. Plus, I guess that the ingredients are ingredients that are from everywhere. I mean, it's for French food. Sometimes French cooking, it goes looking for things that sometimes you don't find in any other country. But crepes, I mean, we're talking about flour, milk, and water, and eggs. Well, every country has that.
Yeah, definitely. So, is it possible to not like crepes?
Well, I tend to guess, Thierry, that everything is possible on this earth. Yet, I am yet to meet the human being that doesn't like crepe. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't met that
about,
person.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me because basically for me, it's like a taco or a burrito in the US. It's like, you can put whatever you want in it. So it's like super, super versatile. And I mean, so who doesn't like tacos and burritos? It's probably the same people who don't like crepes. Do you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I agree
Weird
with you.
People?
Yeah, everybody should like, you should at least try it. That's for sure.
For example, I dare say that I'm not good at making crepes, but I do try to make them. So the result is that they are ugly. They don't look at actual crepes. Yet the taste is always good. So even I can do it. So it's the kind of food that you cannot go wrong with. So I don't really know if it's possible not to like them.
Mm. I would say I'm not good at eating them because normally they finish all over my face. So you need a lot of napkins whenever you eat crepes, at least unless you're having like, the sit down with a knife and a fork, and then I'm okay. Yeah, just one more thing about crepes. Make sure you don't put too much stuff on them, right? Because if you have a crepe with too much, that's just, it's like a burrito. When you have too much stuff inside, which is going to pop, and crepes with too much, it's just, it's not going to work.
It's a subtle balance. It comes with experience. You have to practice. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So we talked a heck of a lot about crepes. Look, I think we can agree. Pancakes are great. And crepes are really great too. And I think they should be tested by everybody listening at least once per month, with the family. You should definitely try the salty ones. If you've, probably people have tasted a sugary crepe, and that's fine. That's great. But do try the salty ones, because boy, those are good too.
Yeah, I agree with all of what you said. And actually, make sure we eat crepes, the salty ones, at home here at least once a week. It's like we are
Really?
in the homeland of crepes. I mean, so it's like it's easy to access for us here in Brittany. So yeah, we do.
Yeah, in France Comté, once again, it's meat and potatoes. And cheese. We forgot to talk about cider.
Yeah, we did. That is true that in the tradition, it is usual that we drink cider when we eat crepes. It is. And in restaurants, that what they propose cider with crepes if you want. And I must say, it goes very well with crepes, the cider. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you very much, Mariette.
Thank you, Terry.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Please follow us on Instagram and let us know what you love about France.
Maybe it'll be our next episode. Allez, until next time, à bientôt.
À la prochaine!